Okay, so we'll continue on with some of the advice for deepening and maintaining our refuge. So now there's some common guidelines. There's 6 of these. Okay, so the first one is mindful of the qualities, skills, and differences between the 3 jewels and other possible refuges. Repeatedly take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So here, to be mindful of the qualities of the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, we need to go to the refuge section of the stages of the path of the Lamrim, and also to some of the philosophical teachings, as in Ornament of Clear Realizations and other books that talk about the qualities of the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And then when we know those qualities, we compare them with other possible objects of refuge. So you might take the objects of refuge of other religions and so on and compare them. Or you could also look at the specific functions of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha and how each one benefits you because of their own individual qualities. Okay? Then you look at the skills, so that's kind of like the qualities, how they benefit you, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And also the differences. How the 3 jewels are different from each other, but also how they are different from other objects of refuge in other traditions. Okay? And so that's a very good way to kind of use your analytical wisdom to understand why you are following a particular spiritual path, what the benefits are, what the qualities are of your objects of refuge. So it makes you have much more understanding. And this is important in Buddhism because blind faith is not the path. Okay. Then the second of the common guidelines, and this one also, once you've done that, then repeatedly take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So this might be, in each of your meditation sessions before beginning it, so on and so forth. Okay. Then 2 is remembering their kindness, make offerings to them, especially offering your food before you eat. Okay. So remembering the kindness of the 3 jewels involves seeing the effect that the 3 jewels have had on our lives. We can see the Buddha's kindness in practicing for 3 countless great eons to attain Buddhahood in order to benefit us. The kindness of the Dharma being the true cessations and true paths, which are the real object of refuge, because actualizing them is freedom in our mind. We can see the kindness of the Sangha that acts as a support system and helps us maintain our practice, answers our questions, clears our doubts, and so on. And so with that kind of remembrance of the kindness of the 3 jewels, then we want to make offerings to them. Okay? So it's kind of like in regular life, when you have a friend who's nice to you, you like to give him presents. Right? It's the same kind of mind, isn't it? When you like somebody, when you feel close to them, you want to give them presents. So this is a way that our human mind expresses things. So when we see the kindness of the 3 jewels, then we want to make a closer connection, so we give them presents. We make offerings on the altar and so on. And here it's particularly recommending that we offer our food. So that's what we're about to do, because this teaching is happening right before lunch. So I guess maybe we could tape it today, the lunch prayers. And the benefit of offering our food is that it makes us stop each day, because we eat a lot, we drink a lot throughout the day, stop and reflect on our refuge, and stop and make offering. And making offering also creates a lot of positive potential, because our mind takes real delight in giving, and so becomes joyful, gets familiar with generosity, which is also quite virtuous. And you'll see in the long way of offering that we're doing for our lunch, then there's lots of other reflections involved in it. And so it just gives you a chance to touch base with yourself and your spiritual path. Now, we're going to do, because this is the lunchtime meal, and for the Sangha, lunch is your main meal. we'll do the long offering, but then there's many shorter ways to do it, and so you can do those at breakfast, evening, lunch if you're too busy. At least say Om Ahung 3 times and think that you're offering to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And if you are in a social environment with people who aren't Buddhists, at a restaurant, you can't, ring a bell and say, everybody, we're going to be quiet, I'm going to offer my food now. Well, I guess you could try it, it would be interesting, But what you can do is just while the other people around you are chatting, you can just recite the prayers, the verses to yourself and do the contemplation. Or you can excuse yourself to go to the bathroom, and wash your hands, and you can kind of do the offering while you're there, okay? So there's ways to do it. And in families, when it's a spiritual family or a Dharma family, and especially with children, I think it's really good to stop and do some kind of verses and reflection before eating. I was traveling once, and I stayed with one family, and before we ate, they all held hands, and there was a little boy and a little girl. They were really little, I mean maybe like 5, 6 years old, but they knew the verses, and they would lead the family in reciting the verses, and it was so sweet. And I thought, what a nice thing for a family to do together. And even if, maybe not the whole family can be there, whatever part of the family is there, to offer together is very, very nice. Okay, and so that's, at our monastery we have our monastic family, and we always offer together.